consumed by passion. Totally consumed by passion. Put on a strategically placed shell. Raise a little hell. Frolic in the surf, sand and turf. On totally new island.
Darling, show me love. Tell me lies. You do something to me. Make it all through the night. Touch me once, kiss me twice. You do something to me. Oh, that I love desire.
Kissed by eternal sun. Kissed by eternal sun. A few miles north of the Tropic of Desire. Totally new island. Totally new island. Totally new island. Totally new island.
Let me along to your totally new island. Let me straight to your totally new island. Let me along to your totally new island.
Boom, baby. We are live back in the house. Interview with the Man, episode 166. But more importantly, happy Thanksgiving to every single person in the house. I had no fucking idea that it was Thanksgiving. That is one of the funny things when you're living overseas. But I do got one date marked in my calendar, and that's December 2nd, this upcoming Monday, my birthday, where Body Fitness Max is going to come out. Pay attention to today's promo. I added the new piece of it at the beginning because a certain viewer out there requested it. Check me out.
Round one. Fight!
You're not gonna want to miss this one. I'm telling you, guys. I'm telling you, man. I've obviously been living out here in Tokyo. Didn't realize how bad things were back home in the United States of America. But I'm telling you, the quickest way to set yourself apart in today's dating climate, if you want maximum dating success, if your body is not on point, I mean, you're just doing yourself a disservice. I want you to take a look at some of the results. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a professional bodybuilder or anything, but these are some of the results that I got when I was doing my personal program, Body Fitness Max. And at this picture right here, I'm 29 years old. Say what you must. Yeah, I'm probably around, let's be extremely critical of myself, okay? Probably here, according to the machine I was using, which was this really high-quality Japanese machine in the gym, where it would give you a complete body scan and, it would actually give you a breakdown of, like, how much fat you gained and lost in your arms, in your torso, and in your legs. It broke it down into 3 sections. Here, I'm about 17% body fat. Now, you ask yourself, some of you guys in the audience are bigger than me in this photo, and lower body fat, right? Some of you guys like big googs. Obviously, Myron Gaines, had a consultation with him this morning. And, the list goes on and on. However, This, I could tell you this right here, even in Tokyo, this is considered like a little fat, right? Because I have a little bit, as you know, fat loss starts from the top of your abs and it actually goes all the way down to the bottom to that last bit right here. So, but even during looking like this, I had seriously some of the wildest and craziest sexual encounters in my life. This was actually the time where I was actually raped, believe it or not. But yeah, Body Fitness Max will get you these type of results. I've just been hell-bent on increasing the quality of my fitness ever since coming back from Hot Dude Con Phoenix. I see our man is in the house. Donovan, we're going to have Donovan give us a call in. We're going to talk about, I'm going to ask Donovan a couple questions about, because obviously he's been in America for a longer time than I have. Obviously, I've been in and out of Asia and South America. But let's fire up the phone lines, right? Who wants to hear Donovan on the air? Phone line's going to be open here. Let me put the number on the screen. So, Don, you can call in whenever you're ready. Phone lines are right there, 657-383-1318. No calls, too small. And we're going to talk about this. Obviously, guys, we know that I have a background in a bachelor's in science in psychology. It's real. I showed it to you on camera. It's not fake. I'm not making this shit up. And in order to receive a visa in Japan, you must have a bachelor's degree in an accredited college. So keep that in mind. This is going to be a great episode as we actually go off of this study and read every single thing in regards to what's going on with alcoholism in the United States. Quite honestly, I don't drink anymore, to be quite frankly with you guys. Let me call in real quick here.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important...
Here we go.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Phone lines are open.
Blog Talk
657-383-1318. Call on in, and you guys will be able to be a part of the show. Donovan, if you want to call in, now is the time. In the meantime, while we wait for Mr. Sharp to come on over, baby. Let's take a look at what's been going on. What's everybody mad about on Twitter today? Who wants to be angry? Not I. I have turned over a new leaf on Twitter. And if you want to follow me, go over to twitter.com/HotDudeLife. Okay? Follow me at HotDudeLife. Really excited about this account, playing it clean, staying under the SJW radar, and really just, showing that Hot Dude Life to the world on Twitter. It's become pretty much a one-sided, I send out a message and then I pretty much don't reply to anything because people are angry. People are angry, and they are letting the world know that they're angry on fucking Twitter. So be sure to follow me there, Hot Dude Life. And let me fire up the Instagram stream and get everything going. Here we go. Again, phone number is on the line there, 657-383-1318. No call is too small. And the only dumb question is the one you do not ask. So you're going to want to get in on this one here and knock out some of these questions. I'm getting an error message here. Already, Jesus. Already got a follower there on Young Lions Perspective. Oh, that's my man in the house. Thank you so much for following, brother. I believe it's Zach. Yeah, Zach just followed with his Solid Pro Wrestling podcast. So thank you so much for following there, buddy. All right, no callers on the line yet. Don, I'm still waiting for you, buddy. Whenever you're ready, let me know. Looks like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but Twitter, the Instagram live stream is not working for me. Let's go and say what's up to everybody in the house real quick before we deep dive into today's episode. We got 36 people in the house. So glad to have everybody here. Eric Von Weedle, happy Thanksgiving to you. Too Painful. That's kind of a sad username. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. What's cooking? I'm making sauerkraut with bacon and apples. My signature side dish. Sounds very German. Are you German? My good man. All right, let's bring Don on the line. I think this is Donovan. Hello, Donovan. Is that you, bro?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah, you too, man. How's it going?
Good. What's up with you? I know you're a big family man. Are you guys gonna go do the whole, big family get together, or what's the deal?
No. I'm actually I'm still in Philly. I'm tossing around the idea of going to North Carolina for Christmas. That's where most of my immediate family lives now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna stay here and chill out in Philly. We're actually, Devin and I are having some friends over
Mm-hmm.
for Thanksgiving to kind of ring in the holiday season. So
What's up with
definitely
what's
looking
on the
forward to
menu?
that.
Are you guys cooking at the house?
Yeah, just the usual. We've got the turkey. She's down there cooking now, and I'm sitting here watching you. Watching you getting some work done. I'm actually getting ready to release my audio, the audio version of my How to Master the Game course. I'm working on that.
Solid.
The announcement tomorrow, but finished my new studio. Did my first show in my big new expensive studio. So just decided to call in and be part of what you're doing here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Always good to have you here. Yeah, your new studio. Let's be honest, dude. That shit. I didn't get to watch a new episode, but I just saw the clip of your new studio on Twitter. And let me see if I can pull it up for everybody, because this is clip worthy. Good Lord, I couldn't believe.
Yeah,
You're building a gym now too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm building the gym, and it's not going to be one of those. It's not going to be one of those Nautilus machine type gyms. This is going to be I'm going to have a squat rack. I've got over 500 pounds of weights. Obviously the bumper weight, so I don't crack the foundation in my townhouse. But yeah, I've got the weight bench. I've got the squat rack. I was gonna get like some dumbbells. But I ordered a dumbbell rack, but it didn't come with the dumbbells, even though it showed the picture. I should have read it, but I'm going to get a refund on that and get some real dumbbells. But yeah, man, I'm going to do I'm doing like a totally legit gym. Hopefully I'll have that finished before the weekend is up. Yeah, I can see that's my new studio, man. And I actually added another screen, if you guys are watching. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking at 6 screens. And then there's one screen behind me, as you guys are seeing on the camera now. I know I'm probably a little bit either ahead or behind as I'm watching here, but yeah, that's my new studio. It was about I put in close to about $15,000 into the studio. My cameras, I have 2 cameras. They were almost $900 a piece. Got a big new iMac. That was $5,000, and I actually used all of the money that I made from my audio course, How to Master the Game. That's the money that I used, plus a little bit of my money. I used every penny that I made from that for the studio. So yeah, doing big things, reinvesting in the show, man.
Looks great, man. I got to say, definitely. It's good. I take pride in continuously, obviously, some people look to me as like a leader or a coach or whatever, but I take pride in constantly allowing myself to continuously put myself in the position of being the student and learn from people better than me. That studio is fucking amazing, man. I've been fooling with the idea of 2 cameras, but things have been this year. I can't believe this year's already over, but this year has been a fucking whirlwind.
Jesus.
And
Oh my God, you're not kidding.
It's
You
been-
are
it-
not kidding.
it's
man.
been a great year. It's seriously, I'm not even gonna lie. 2019 has been the best year of my life, and it's just wild, and I think it's just gonna continue getting better. That studio looks fucking phenomenal, man. Congrats to you and all that stuff. But yeah. So are you?
Yeah,
done?
yeah. It took a lot of work, but I'm glad I did it. It's like, I don't know. You're probably in the same boat as me, man. This is a labor of love, man. Like, I love doing this.
Yeah.
And so even though there was a lot, the studio took a lot longer to build than I thought, but it's totally been worth it. What were you saying?
No. I was just gonna say, like, are you down to just you want to just call in for a little bit, or you want to ride the whole episode? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll write the whole episode, man. I'll just, whatever you're talking about, I'll, make comments here and there. You can just sort of get my take whenever. You're the man. You're in control. So just let me know when you want.
Yeah,
me to
yeah.
chime in.
Well, thanks so much. Let me ask you a very important question before we get started. Are you on the waiting list for Body Fitness Max this Monday, which happens to be my birthday?
I am not, but I definitely need to be. I didn't know anything about this Body Fitness Max thing, dude. Tell me about it.
Okay, well, it's very easy. I've made it very easy for people involved. All you got to do is go to the same place you've always been going to get on the waiting list. I made it easy. Go to modernlifedating.com/body language. Scroll down. Click on the sign up to get on waiting list here, and you'll actually be automatically put on the waiting list for Body Language Mastery, which opens the day after Christmas, because this year Christmas comes twice. Comes on the 25th and the 26th. And this Monday, Body Fitness Max. Body Fitness Max is actually my 100% free 4K filmed course that is you're gonna love.
Wow.
You're gonna love this. Wait until you hear this, because what really influenced me is because I recently went to Phoenix, Arizona, and I saw a woman in Chipotle, right? I like Chipotle. Are you a Chipotle fan? You like Chipotle?
I've only eaten there once, and it was a good experience. So, yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, I like Chipotle.
I saw this woman. She was about 5'6", maybe 5'7", and about
oh boy,
260 pounds.
Woo!
Oh
no! Please don't tell me that's true. You don't have to lie to kick it, man.
Well, and here's the thing. Not only was she this, which, on a medical standard, this is clinically obese.
Clinically obese, yeah.
She was in line arguing with the staff that she wanted more cheese on her burrito, but she didn't want to pay. She wanted to pay more. And I was just like,
oh my God.
I was just thinking to myself,
Oh, sweet mother of God.
good Lord, America is so fucked. Like, if this is our future, we are ripe and ready for
John,
invasion.
this is not our. No, hold on, man. This is not our future, bro. This is our present.
I know.
Like, this shit is happening. This shit is happening now, man.
Yeah.
And dude, I've actually been listening from the start in terms of how to separate yourself from, I guess, 95% of the guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 100% correct when you said that if your fitness level is tip top, you will have more success with women than you have ever had. There are dudes out here, John, who have absolutely zero game to speak of, but they have above. You don't even have to be at 10% body fat. Just be in above average shape. And you will absolutely, dude, you'll be up to your eyeballs in pussy all the time.
Yep.
All the time. There is no in between, because most dudes are just not in that great shape.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it blew my mind. It really blew my mind. The Tokyo Playboy standard is a little bit different. So, I mean, I'm doing fine in Tokyo, but I went back to the States and I realized, like, Jesus, to be top tier in the States, like, you got to put in a little bit of work. I don't know if you've I don't think you've ever met the guy who's been on my show, Dude Party, but his name's Corey. Corey's about 5'11" and 240 of, like, pure muscle. This guy is fucking terrifying. And, I've been making some partnerships behind the scenes here with, how to grow this message of masculinity to teach men, like, A, it's okay to be masculine, and B, like, the world needs masculinity. It's the reason we're here in the first place. And just seeing this guy really, I think more so than the average man that there are only two types of men in life. There's a man who sees somebody, he sees another man doing better than him in any avenue, whether it be finances or fitness or sex. And there's only two types of men. There's a man that will look at that man and be like, wow, I need to work harder, I need to learn from him, and I need to achieve more. Or there's the other man who's like, oh, he takes steroids, he beats a woman,
there you go,
and he tears the guy down. And both come from a mutual exclusive place of kind of somewhat ignorance, but it's where they choose to go. Whether to say, I got to make myself better, let me lift myself up, or let me tear this guy down.
Yep.
I personally looked at him, and I was like, I need to fucking live in the gym. I need to go get way better shape, lift my fitness standards up even higher, because even though I'm fit and okay in Tokyo, compared to like what was happening in the States, like in order to get to that next level, because let's be honest, there is your body is associated with your status, whether you want it to be or not. It's
right.
Just, it's inevitable.
Right.
And I want to, obviously we are guys that really understand the science of the dating game. And I would like to have every advantage possible. And look, I could tell you as a guy who's made a lot of money, whatever you fucking decide is a lot of money for you guys out there. But a decent living and have everything you want, go on trips with beautiful girls, go wherever the fuck you want, do whatever you want. And there's nothing better than taking off your shirt, hitting the double bicep flex, looking at yourself and being happy on your personal standards of fitness. Not your mom says you look good, your girl says you look good, your boys say you look good. I say I look good. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Now, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about the two kinds of men in the world. And, being a content creator, I've actually seen this firsthand all over the place. Mm-hmm. You and I have our share of fans, and we have our share of detractors. Mm-hmm. And what I have learned is that people who are detractors are probably always going to be detractors.
Yes.
I'm someone, I get motivated seeing successful men. I get motivated when I see men who are in better shape than I am. Mm-hmm. I am motivated when I see a guy who has a better studio than I do. I get motivated when I see a guy driving a better car than I do. I get motivated when I see a guy with a hotter chick than I have. Yeah. I don't know why or how a man could be a consummate hater. I don't know how a man is wired to hate on another man who is doing better than he is. That, to me, you're not a man at that point. You are simply a male. You are a person who was born with a Y chromosome, because a man is motivated by success, not discouraged by it. A man wants to emulate success. Males want to tear down success, right? Mm-hmm. A man sees a guy who's in better shape than he is and says, I wonder what he does, right? I would like to find out what he does. I would like to find out what he's on so that I can look like that guy. A male, just like you said, looks at the guy and says, well, I bet he takes steroids. I bet he's on TRT. I bet he's on HGH, which are technically steroids by all sports standards.
Right.
The men don't, again, the difference between a man and a male is a man wants to know what the path to success is. A male wants to know why you did what you did. In other words, these are female traits and characteristics. That is Mohammed says it right here in the chat. That is a very feminine trait. Mm-hmm. Males who tear down men for their success are acting like females, and we will never win those males over.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree. And, it's a harsh reality to confront, You have to be a real man.
It is.
You have to be a real man to look at another man in the eye and have this man be bigger than you, stronger than you, get more women than you, more money, whatever. And for you to sit there, shake his hand, and know in your heart of hearts, this guy is doing everything that you're doing better, and it's your fault. And you don't take this in a negative, passive kind of attacking way on yourself, but this is the reality of life, and putting the effort in. analyzing the guy in a critical sense that you can kind of like reverse engineer how he got to where he is, and then from there applying that to your life.
Good.
You know, applying that to your life compared to just, you know, it's almost like one thing I noticed with chicks in America is that, like, you know, their go-to insult these days is like, oh, you're just an incel, or you have a small dick, right? Which it's that's just like their go-to calling card, but kind of shows you where their head is in a completely other. I mean, when it comes to men's achievement and women's achievement, I mean, there is no comparison whatsoever. Men blow these bitches out the fucking park.
Of course.
It's like comparing fucking, I don't know, Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield. Is that his name for the Browns?
Oh, wow.
It's like comparing those two. It's just, there's no, I mean, you got the quarterback of the Colts quarterback of the Browns, and arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. So,
right.
You know, there's just no comparison. So, you know, when it comes to guys, it's just, when you have a guy that's better than you, don't tear him down. Look at what's going on and then figure out.
I would say this. I would also say this, because you're probably, and again, this is why I don't look at my comments anymore, because when we look at the comments, like, I'll just keep it real. I used to look at the comments to get all of the validation, right? Oh, Donovan, you're the man. You're speaking the truth, blah, 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 blah. Well, haters know that we're looking for that validation, at least at some point, and they use that opportunity to say, well, I'm going to slide in my hate because I know he's going to be looking at the comments, right? So to any man who is watching this, or who will end up watching this, for any man who is going to, you're going to have males who come in here and they're going to troll, right? They don't do it in the chat because they know they'll get timed the fuck out.
Right.
They know they'll get timed out. So what they do is they wait until the video is over, and then they put it in the comment section because they think they know you're going to see it. I would just say that I would just say this one thing to men who do nothing, or to males who do nothing but troll men like me and yourself, is that if you hate on men who are having success, then that is a you problem.
Yes.
It makes no. I don't know, John, and I'm not trying to humble brag or anything like that. I have never, even when I was a fat ass, when I was bad with women and unsuccessful, I have never felt the need to go onto another man's platform and talk shit about that man. It just doesn't, I don't know. I've never really been wired that way. So if any man who is watching this on the replay, yeah, listen, you're going to leave your comments and you're going to start hating on people. Just understand that you are part of that male population that's never going to get anywhere, because all you do is hate on men. Yeah. And that's okay. We end up having the last laugh 11 times out of 10 anyway. That's just what I'd like to say to those guys.
Yeah, it is an uncomfortable point of reality that we must confront.
Yes. So
let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So are you familiar, Don, with the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation?
I am not.
So basically, they're kind of like an education and research center, where they talk about, you know, alcoholism, cultural trends, what's going on, and they posted this thing. I think I've got it on the screen right now, and it's talking about women and alcohol. And I'm really, what I wanted to do. Obviously, I was telling everybody that I have like a background in psychology, so a lot of these psychological studies can sometimes escape people. So I'm just going to kind of break it down and give them a layman's version of what was said in this study. And I just want to talk about what's going on in the United States, because, you know, when you're a frog inside the pot that is, you know, proverbially boiling, you know, it's hard for you to notice the temperature change, right? I'm pretty sure you notice it. I mean, let me ask you something about this. What are your thoughts on like what's going on with America? And obviously, you know, you're a little bit more of a seasoned man. You've seen things change. This is kind of a loaded question, but I'm just going to ask you anyways. What have you seen, and have you seen things changing for the better or the worse? Because I believe you're 42 or 43 now. How old are you? Sorry. Forgot.
Yeah, I'm 42. Yeah.
42. Okay. So you have a lot of life under your belt. And what do you think about everything?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. just in with your episode, new study shows American women are becoming alcoholics and why. Something that I've noticed, something that was actually kind of shocking when I first started getting good, really, really good with women. And I found the red pill when I was 32. I really, really hit my stride with girls when I was 34. I slept with more women. I slept with more women from the age of 34 to 36 than I had the previous 33 years of my life.
Damn.
And then, of course, it's the curve. Yeah, well, I mean, the curve was exponential at that point. I mean, by the time I was 21 years old, I'd slept with 18 girls, which is a pretty good number.
Especially back in those days
again,
when it was actually hard to get.
Oh, of course.
No Tinder, no Bumble.
Yeah. That's right. Right. And again, I've never done online dating. I have only done face-to-face cold approaching. This is why I spent so many hours. If I could add those hours back, I certainly would. But something when I really hit my stride, when I was adding, two, three chicks to my notch count a week, something that I noticed is that every once in a while, if I started seeing a chick on the regular, right? If I was sleeping with her more than once a week, because you have girls in rotation of varying degrees. Some girls you fuck once a week, some girls you fuck twice a week, some girls you fuck 3 times a week. If you're fucking a girl 2 to 3 times a week, you're on your way to being in a relationship, at which point you need to pull back so you don't catch feelings, and that's for another day and time. But I started to notice that a lot of girls that I was spending more than one day a week with, they all drank regularly.
Oh, it's the worst.
Listen, maybe some of them go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the worst. Real quick, Dan Avicia, thank you for the $20 super chat. He says thanks for your content, appreciate you. I'll tell you this, Don. I just said that's the worst when they drink. Me personally, Donovan, I'll tell you this right now. Miss MLD, she doesn't drink. She's not allowed to drink. And she, quite honestly, she doesn't like to drink. Me personally, moving forward, if I love to use this, I use this all the time. If Miss MLD and I are still together in the future, who knows what can happen. But moving forward, whichever chick, if I do replace her, whoever chick it happens to be the one, I refuse to date a girl that drinks. I just refuse to. I just won't do it anymore. Yeah. Yeah, no, listen, I agree, man. I noticed that so many girls drink regularly. And when I say drink regularly, I'm not talking about alcoholics who just get pissed drunk every day. I'm just talking about girls who have 1 to 2 cocktails a day, every day. They don't get drunk. Sometimes they'll get a little bit tipsy. Every once in a while, they'll get smashed and hammered. But I had a lot of relationships with a lot of different girls when I was in Vegas, and just about all of them drank regularly. I dated one girl who was a full-on functioning alcoholic. She would drink all day long, and she would be just a little bit fucked up all day long, even at work. Paid her bills on time, had a mortgage, but this chick was a train wreck. Every girl that I dated seemed to have some sort of vice with alcohol. And I think the reason for it, now one thing, I think the reason why younger women drink a lot is because that's just the culture. But older women that I've dated who are in their late 20s, early 30s, early to mid 40s, the reason they drink is because they're trying to cope with their decreasing desirability with men, right? Yep. They don't want to be a statistic. We're all well aware of the fact that that 1 in 4 women is on some sort of antidepressant, anti-anxiety med, or both. And in order to sort of circumvent that, they self-medicate with alcohol to deal with the fact that, oh my God, I'm 43 years old and I've got this guy who fucks me twice a week, but he doesn't want to commit. What am I going to do? What am I going to do from here? And they drink to be able to cope with that. But I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I think that there are many, many more women drinking than used to. All right. So this study is take a look at your whichever device you're watching me on, Don. I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis here. So we got all the. I'm
watching you on my 50. I'm watching you on my 55-inch monitor. Just to brag there. Yeah.
Okay, so you can see everything clearly. So I'm actually going to cover this from top to bottom here. So If at any point it gets, too long, you got to go handle your Thanksgiving, by all means. It's midnight on Thursday in Tokyo, so I've got nothing to do but to hang out with the boys. So I've been actually wanting to break this down for the guys as well. So if it gets too long, just let me know. If you got to bounce out, do what you got to do. But let's just jump into it. Cool. So the Butler Center for Research, this is from December of 2017. There is an updated research one here, but I'm just going to cover this one. It says, with all the recent attention focused on the opioid crisis, which, I don't know, did you know that the majority of people who are abusing prescription drugs in the United States are also women?
I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Dude, by a fucking landslide. By a motherfucking landslide.
Yeah, of course.
It is easy to overlook the fact that misuse of alcohol continues to be a serious issue for millions of people in the United States. A 2016 survey by the SAM HSA revealed that 65 million people aged 12 and older, Jesus fucking Christ, 12.
Wow.
65
12 years old. Holy fuck.
Engage in binge drinking, consuming 5 or more drinks during one occasion for men and 4 or more drinks per occasion for women. I mean, these days I usually tap out around 3 or 4 old fashions. If I'm having a real good night and it's Tokyo crazy time, then I'll do 5. But I mean, after that, 5 old fashions that where I usually drink, like,
just real quick, it's interesting how we relax differently. The only time I drink is before I go to sleep. I'll have a couple of whiskey sours, a couple of cocktails that'll mellow me out, and then I go to bed. But if I'm out on the town, I don't. When I was out on the town in Vegas, I didn't drink. I was doing blow. Like, yeah. I'm a guy who likes to do uppers when he goes out and hits the town and hits on girls, et cetera, and then I do downers when I'm ready to go to sleep.
That's funny. For me personally, I never drink at home. I actually have a bottle of whiskey in the room the other day from, like, I think I bought it in like spring, and I still haven't touched it. I just never drink at home, but I drink when I go out, and I'm a very social drinker. But when it comes to being alone or stuff,
sure,
it's not what I do. Very interesting. Let me go back to this part. And it says,
different strokes for the folks.
He says, and 16 million of those people binge drink 5 or more times per month. So you're looking at 25 drinks per month.
Wow.
On a conservative side. It says data on rates of alcohol addiction are equally concerning. An estimated 15.1 million people, 5% of the U.S. population, met the criteria for an alcohol use disorder, and in 2016. Though this rate is down from previous years, it represents a large number of people. What I think is interesting about that is that, first of all, they talk about a survey, guys. So a survey is when people are collecting data on an optional basis, and from this optional basis, they've determined that 5.5% of the United States population are confirmed alcohol addicts. What's interesting is that what about the 95% that was not surveyed? Where do they lie on this spectrum?
Right.
Let's see.
Right.
It says these statistics are important because heavy drinking is associated with the number of unfavorable consequences. That's kind of common sense. Prolonged heavy drinking can cause chronic and sometimes fatal health conditions like liver disease, heart disease, stroke, bleeding, and ulcerations of the GI tract and cancer. This is by the World Health Organization, 2014. Heavy drinking. This paragraph right here just goes about like all the negative aspects of heavy drinking. I'll say this last one, then we'll move on to the next paragraph. It says the brain is affected as well. Heavy alcohol damages the brain and causes a number of impairments in thought processes like memory and decision making. That's from a 2004 study. A little bit old, but still common sense there. Let's go down here. So we have alcohol use amongst women. As harmful as excessive drinking is for the average person, women are at even greater risk. Right. Despite women being better than men, according to everything in America, they're actually at a greater risk.
Jesus, yes, of course. Yeah, right.
Research
knew?
has shown that the problems associated with drinking, especially the health impacts, are especially pronounced for women. You want to hear something funny, Donovan? So I went.
What you got?
I went to that convention, learning how to be a better digital marketer, right, in Phoenix, Arizona. Met some great marketers and seeing what markets were ripe, what markets were dying, what are the best ways to go out and create a digital audience to help people as much possible with your message. And one of the leading markets in the United States, quite honestly, blew my mind. This lady, she had a 5-day campaign. And in 5 days, she was able to make $98,000 US, getting people into her course and her community. Do you know what that course was?
What's that?
Take a guess. What do you think?
Body language mastery?
No, I wish. The course was
No, I have no idea. What? So a woman made almost $100,000 on a course that she sold.
Yes, and the course was
How to be a slut or
how to stop being an alcoholic as a woman. That was the course.
Oh wow! Holy
dude.
Shit, man.
And she was a British chick. She gave a little speech. It was pretty interesting, but she gave a speech and she's like, I learned that what I saw on Sex and the City isn't real. I was like, oh, fucking Jesus Christ. What an epiphany.
Really?
Color me
these
shocked.
fucking bitches, man.
But that just lets you,
right?
again, so this study is indicating 5% of the United States population. And then you have this chick who is making $98,000 in 5 days. Not 1 year, in 5 days for her.
She probably drank most of that money, if we're being honest.
I talked to her, she was a solid 6.5, British chick, but relocated to the States, and she thought, this was it. And she showed all the pictures of all these chicks that were getting, quite honestly, a help from her, which is good. I mean, I think that anybody who's addicted to any kind of drug should seek help if they need it. And yeah, man, this chick is fucking raking in the dough. So it's another.
And that, but again, just like you said, that just goes to show. This woman made $100,000 in 5 days selling a course, How to Not Be an Alcoholic.
Yeah.
That right there shows you that there are a lot of females who are alcoholic, man. And it really, dude, it's scary to think about the real percentages in terms of women who have a drinking problem. Now, we could sit here and talk about, okay, what's the difference between an alcoholic and someone with a drinking problem? Are they one and the same? Are they different? I'm just going to go ahead and make a blanket statement. I don't know what clinically an alcoholic is. So I'm just going to call it a drinking problem. A drinking problem to me, when somebody has a drinking problem, it means they can't go 1 day without having a drink, right? Even if it's one drink. To me, that's a drinking problem. And that's for both men and women. If you can't go 1 day without having a drink, you have a drinking problem. So if this woman made a fortune off of this course teaching women how to not be an alcoholic, I think that most women in this country probably have a drinking problem on some level.
Yeah, man. I think there's a silent epidemic going on here's what I personally think. And I met this when I was in Phoenix experiencing everything. I believe that there is such a silent epidemic going on right now with women in the United States. Like and you and I, we've seen it. Like now it's cuffing season, so all the hashtag boss bitch, they're all gone. They're all like hashtag submissive chick. I know, man.
Yeah.
But there is a large facade going on in the United States where women are great at women are naturally great marketers. They can think they say oh yeah, my life is perfect and I've got this and this is my Instagram and this is how I'm a hashtag boss bitch. Yeah. But behind the scenes, she has $9 in her checking account. She has, $400 in her savings. Her room is a mess. She has some STDs. She's an alcoholic. She has 4 guys that are fucking her, but not a single guy that wants to commit to her. She's closing in on 26, 27. She's starting to worry about her future, worry about, she's fucking up at the office. She's fucking up at work. She's fucking up at the gym. And, she's still got no man in her life. And
She's a train wreck.
what people don't realize, too, is that, like you and I, if somebody says, like, a man's great measure of, like, wanting up another guy's like, well, you're not getting any sex, right? That's just, like, the one thing. Like, well, this guy's he's jerking off the porn.
Sure.
But for women, it's like she's not in a relationship. And whether you believe it or not, that's how other women judge each other behind the scenes in their little women world. How we have men world, we're like, Bob is fucking pussy. You can only bench 135, They're the same way. They're like, well, Susie's on her third relationship this year, and no man wants to keep her, and she's a fucking loser. And that's probably because she's fat, or she doesn't get her nails done, or she has all those split ends, like whatever goes on in female world. But that is what they talk about behind the scenes. A man's measure of success is if he's getting sex or not. A woman's measure of success is, can she keep a man? And whether you believe it or not,
Yeah, that's it.
that's just so true. The numbers are there. That's why dating profiles, for women who are like 30 plus, they pay a little bit more money. They're willing to pay matchmakers. That's why 30 plus women, they pay to freeze their fucking little powdered eggs because they know time's running out. And quite honestly speaking, they don't want a retarded baby because every year after 35, the woman is at extreme risk to produce an unhealthy baby and or lose the
That's
baby
right.
or her life in giving birth. So it's a huge thing. But going back to this study, one of my
I agree.
Go ahead.
No,
Don.
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I think we got a good banter going
Yeah, I
on.
was going to say the dichotomy that you just made in terms of male success and female success is 100% spot on. Male success is getting a lot of sex from a lot of different women. Female success is being able to have a good long-term relationship with a man of value.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, what makes a man successful in terms of what counts as, I guess, romantic success is the thing that women can get easily, right? And it's literally the opposite with women. So a man's success means that he can sleep with a lot of different women. Well, women can sleep with men anytime they want, but that's not considered successful because that's easy. A woman's definition of success is being able to have a relationship with a man of value. Well, we as men, we can have relationships anytime we want, right? So we don't really value relationships, right? Women value relationships because relationships don't come easy to them. Men, we value sex because sex doesn't come that easy to us, right? Do you see how they sort of just cross ways?
Yeah.
Our success is literally a woman's failure, and a woman's success is a man's failure. Well, a man's failure is a woman's success, and a woman's failure is a man's success.
Yeah.
I think that this is if men would just know and understand that we as men, we are the gatekeepers to relationships, women are the gatekeepers to sex. This is why sex is important to us and relationships are important to women. If you keep that in mind, that really covers about 65% of understanding what women's motivations are.
Yeah, and it's kind of common sense, but I guess, like my uncle always says, common sense isn't common. I mean, for a guy like you and I, we would sit down and hash this out in a conversation and be like done in like less than 5 minutes.
Sure.
But for most people, this is like profound. Let's go back to the study and talk a little bit more about some of the things that are big difference. So this is what they've started to notice. And keep in mind, they noticed this in December 2017. I'm assure you that it's way worse now. A woman is more likely, this is hilarious, you probably saw this on the Vegas Strip tons of times. A woman is more likely than a man to harm her health with long-term drinking, even if she drinks less alcohol for a shorter period of time. Some research suggests that women who drink heavily are more at risk than men for alcohol-induced injuries. How many fucking World Star videos have you seen of like some drunk girl just not being tested, not being taught any sort of lesson of boundaries? She's 22, she's hammered, and she walks up to that 6'2", 205-pound wide receiver for like, I don't know, Ohio State, and decides she wants to punch this guy in the face.
Right.
We all know how that one ends, but it goes from
Oh, of course.
falling down. We used to call them doing the dirty foot. I don't know if they still do this in the States. The dirty foot is like they take off their fucking high heels and walk around barefoot, and their feet are black.
They call that the walk of shame.
Ugh, God.
Yeah, they call that the walk of shame now.
Oh, it's disgusting. This next part is pretty funny. It says women also progress more quickly than men from first using alcohol to developing an addiction, a phenomenon known as telescoping. Women who drink heavily are more likely than women who do not drink to become victims of interpersonal violence or sexual assault. Now, I like how this is so worded beautifully here. It says become victims of interpersonal violence, right? I mean, let's be honest. What that really translates is to her slapping some guy or punching some guy in the face, and then the guy was just like, oh, well, guess what? This ain't going to happen on my watch. Because, look, you and I are men, and we're friends and all that, but if you punch me in the face or if I punch you in the face, chances are we're going to start fighting. Like, we're not going to just let it slide.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's what this one is here. It's talking about, become victims of interpersonal violence or sexual assault. And, for sexual assault, it's not okay, but at the same time, if a guy got fucking hammered and smeared himself with like monkey blood and ran into the woods that was like bear infested in mating season, and this guy gets his ass fucking mauled, people are gonna be like, yeah, that guy, obviously he's fucking stupid. He shouldn't have done that. But if a chick gets hammered, and if a chick gets absolutely smashed and then walks around in a short skirt and high heels and, a tube top with her tits like falling out and shit in a bad neighborhood or an area where like you don't know who lives where or who's who, and she gets raped or assaulted.
Wrong side of the tracks.com.
Yeah, if she gets assaulted, then all of a sudden we want to shift all responsibility, all accountability away from her, and we want to shift it to the man, which is, I mean, logically speaking, it's just not a good thing. Chris Z says, yo, Donovan, I'm here in Miami. Who wins this weekend, my Dolphins or your Eagles?
Yeah, that's easy. The Eagles are going to win that game. Yeah. We're a bad football team, but we're not as bad as the Dolphins.
No, that's a whole new level of bad.
Just real quick on what you just said.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Real quick on what you just said. There's this girl I dated in Vegas. I've talked about her before. Her name was Tatiana. She was either Ukrainian or Russian. And I remember one time she thought she wanted to argue with me on the basis of male responsibility. And she says she could walk out in the city naked. If a man rapes her, a man does not have a right to rape her. I said, you're absolutely right. He does not have a right to rape her. Rape is wrong. Rape is against the law. I said, however, that woman has to be held accountable and responsible for putting herself in that situation. She says, no, she doesn't. I said, you, and I said to her, these words, said, you're ignorant. She's like, how am I ignorant? I said, okay, let me give you another example of something that you can sort of understand. And I said to wrap your young, ignorant mind around, because you haven't been in the States long enough. I said, if I drive my car to a bad part of town, leave the car on, leave the doors unlocked, and walk away from the car, I shouldn't be surprised when I come back and my car is gone. Now, the guy who carjacked my car, is it against the law that he did? Of course it's against the law. But what should I have done differently? She said, and she didn't even see this. She says, well, you shouldn't have left your car in the middle of this bad neighborhood with the doors unlocked. What are you thinking? I said, yeah, exactly. So if you walk around naked in a bad part of town and you get raped, that's going to be my question to you. The rapists are always going to be men who rape women. That is obviously a bad thing, right? But just like you said, anytime a woman puts herself in a precarious situation that increases the likelihood of something bad happening to her, any and all accountability is removed from her. Well, they should not have done this. Well, if I leave my car unlocked in a bad part of town, I shouldn't have done that, yet the car thieves are still guilty of Grand Theft Auto. It is literally the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And That's one thing I've noticed, because Japan they're quick. They look in every context, whether it be a man, woman, or child. They look to see who is accountable and who is responsible. Whether you're a man or woman or a child, if you are if you're the cause of some event, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, man, or it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, none of that. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And the Japanese will say, well, if you walked through a bad area and you were drunk and you physically cannot defend yourself, why are you expecting criminals to play by the rules set up by ordinary people? And instead of demonizing the criminal, you want to demonize all the good people as well as all the bad people.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense.
So let's continue on to this study. Here we go. Women who drink heavily are more likely than women who do not drink to become, I already talked about interpersonal violence and sexual assault. Though binge and heavy drinking have decreased over the last several years for men, the rates have increased for women, particularly, you're going to love this, amongst older adults. It doesn't say older women. It says older adults, which kind of goes back to what you said, is that you got these women who are, they were a hottie McHottie when they were, 18, 19, 20. Let's say she rode the carousel up till 29. And then from 30 on, she tried to find a good man. She can't seem to find a guy that'll want to keep her, and she's gonna drink to cope with that. I mean, it's I've seen it in real life all over the world, man. Women who are single over 35, it's really sad, to be honest with you. Just because they are trying so hard to grasp at straws and just try to hold on to a hope, because at the end of the day, whether they want to fucking say this shit or not, having a child is a huge part of a woman's identity in this life. Whether she wants to say it or not, it's 100% true. And I'm talking about, having a child is like a woman's rite of passage. And I'm talking not American style, yes, where they epidural you up and you feel nothing. I'm talking old school. This is going to rip my vagina, and this is going to be excruciating.
Right. Bite a toothbrush.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Bite a toothbrush and get ready.
And this is why I'm going to love this little fucker that comes out of me, and I'll love him more than the man that gave him to me. That's just what women are, right? Number one rule of the jungle is never get between a lion and her cubs. If you see it in animals all over the animal kingdom,
right?
Women are the most dangerous animal. There was this, I think there was a group of hunters. They went into the woods in Russia, and the last thing they set up an old VHS camera, and the last thing they saw was some guy fucking with a little cub, and then this huge mama bear,
oh boy,
running out the woods, killed all three of the guys. All they found was the VHS.
Damn.
So that's in their DNA, and I think it's interesting that they're mentioning this. One thing as well, check this out. If you can see this infographic, take a look at this. Of all these women that they factored who are alcoholics, 26% have children at home of the ones they've surveyed. So help me with my math here. 74% of all the other women don't have children or don't have children at home and have fallen victim to the glass.
There you go.
People, they want to say it. They can pretend all they want, but at the end of the day, you know what I notice women are like? If you ever watch a woman with a baby near, it's almost as if you see a really, really hot girl, and then you see a guy who has no game, and he tries to make these kind of pathetic attempts to get the girl's attention. Girls do that when there's a baby near. I've noticed that. They'll do anything. They'll be like, "Oh, hey, nice hat there, baby. Can I just talk to this?" It's inevitable too. I've seen it. It's within their proximity. They're if a dude sees a hot girl, he'll be like, "Oh, try not to pay attention, whatever." If you look at a chick, even if she has her
Yeah, right.
smartphone out, she will instinctively be like drawn to like look at the baby and make some faces and try to like talk to the mother or whoever has the baby.
Of course.
I
They
see.
can't help themselves. Yeah, they cannot help themselves. It is in their biological makeup.
Yes. So I think it's very, very, very telling times to see, what they say on the surface level and what's real. Let me go down here. So I think it's interesting that this one right here, it says, though binge and heavy drinking have decreased over the last several years for men. That's very interesting. But it's actually increased for women, particularly amongst older women. This is based off of USA data, I believe. They said Breslow et al. Examined survey data for alcohol use across a 17-year period from 1997 to 2014. The prevalence of binge drinking for men age 60 or older remain unchanged, whereas binge drinking increased roughly 3.7% each year for age 60-plus women. So a little bit of a...
Wow. So, yeah, they're really trying to cope. They're really trying to hold it together, man.
That's wild, man. I don't know. That's crazy. Another study...
Dude, that is fucking crazy, dude.
60-plus, man. You know what's funny? I'll tell you a crazy story. So I have a guy in my community, and recently his OkCupid profile was hacked, right? And it was hacked by a con artist who was pretending to be a 67-year-old man, and he was hitting up all of these ladies on OkCupid, trying to set them up to like get scammed out of some money. But he couldn't believe at how many 60-plus-year-old women were single, out there looking for love, and like desperately so. He was like reading through the messages and people being like, hey, I'm looking for a man. I have some kids. I fucked up a couple of things here and there, and I really want to, end this last page of my life and have some companionship. And I just thought after 60, like people just, quite honestly, that these women didn't give a shit, because he showed me some screenshots. These are chicks that are like, they're like 65, 67.
No matter
older.
how old they get. Well, again, no matter how old women get, you called it. Having a child, being married, being in a relationship of consequence is a huge part of the female identity. Sleeping around is a very small part of the female identity. This is why women who try to make sleeping around the biggest part of their female identity end up on drugs or alcoholics, because that's not the way they're designed. They are literally going against their biological hard drive. And this confuses them. They're like, you know what? I thought I would be happy sleeping around and remaining single. # cougar life, # single life. But I'm not. Why is that? They just don't get it. And this is why they turn to substance abuse. It's so obvious that it's complicated for these women. They just don't get it.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's hard for me not to laugh at them when they're hot and they're shaking their ass in the club and they're like, you probably have a small dick and you're probably an incel. When I hear those things, I just, I laugh to myself and I snicker and I just say, yep, there's just another future cat lady right there, because who in their right mind would want to tolerate that kind of behavior on a day in, day out?
No, nobody would. Nobody would, dude.
Let's say another study examining from
Nobody would, man.
2001, 2002 to 2013 found a 58% increase in high-risk drinking amongst women overall. 58% across all ages. From 2001 to 2013.
Jesus.
All women, all ages, they found a 58% increase in high-risk drinking. So that's every age category down here. So we have 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35, 44, 45, 54, 55 to 64, and 65 plus. All of those a 58%
Damn.
increase, compared to to a 15% increase for men. 15.
Jesus. Good God, man.
Frequent binge drinking amongst teens is decreasing overall, but the decrease in girls has been more gradual than for boys, such that the gender gap that existed for several decades is closing. So it seems to me, let me see, that's Jang. Let me see if I can pull that up. I want to read that study. So because it seems to me, all studies, right, they seem to kind of pamper the harshness of the
Yes, they sugarcoat
reality
it.
when it comes to women. When it comes to men, they're willing to go and whatever and just be like, yep, let's just fucking
Give us the hard truth. Well, part of the reason is because deep down they don't. The reason they do it is to just turn the knife. But thankfully for men, most men, not male, thankfully most men are able to cope with it and do something about it. They know that women cannot. See, again, what these studies just further prove is that women can't handle the raw truth, no matter what. Even when it's staring them right in the face, if somebody points it out, they just can't handle it. This is why they sugarcoat studies. It's obvious. This is why they do it.
Let's take a look at this. So I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so I pulled up that study that they're citing. Right, every study. So let me show you guys a little something who are watching. So typically during these studies that you're reading, they'll cite other studies to compound the data. So this one is Jang et al. 2017. So what I did was I scrolled down here, number 15, Jang 2017. I just copy pasted this into Google, and I found the chart here. The results said decreasing in FBD, which is frequent binge drinking, were attributed to period and cohort effects independent of age variations. Birth cohorts between 1985 and 1990 showed the greatest decline in frequent binge drinking. Let's see. The age period cohort results were consistent across sex, race, ethnicity, and SES, which is socioeconomic status, which means how much money they where they're in the top tax bracket or the bottom one,
Sure.
High class, middle class, lower class.
Yeah.
With the exception of slower declines seen amongst African American adolescents compared to white adolescents since 2007. So you can see, I don't know which one is which here, but this is the different. This is like the difference you can see. So they're trying to say that the gap is closing, but if you take a look at it, the gap is, I mean, that's not much of a gap, really.
It's pretty obvious.
It's
Yes.
I don't know. I'm assuming blue is going to be men. Oh no, those are time,
Yeah, okay.
Those are
That's
time
probably a safe
periods.
assumption.
1991 to 98 is blue. 99 to 2006 is this one, and then 2007 to 2015. So it is dropping, which is that's a good sign. But I think this is just overall. But anyways, good to piece together that data.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that probably is just overall. I agree with you on that.
So let's go back to this study here. So how's everybody doing in the chat? Are we getting educated? Give me a 1 in the chat if you're finding this interesting compared to your typical let's just blame feminism programming. Actually going into the science of it. Give me a 1 in the chat.
Hey man, that's hey, you're talking about your boy there, man.
Well, I mean, that was not a sneak diss at all. That was not that was more of a
No, I know.
I was more throwing
it's
salt
all
at the
good, dude.
MGTOWs. But yeah, let's see. Let me go back.
Yeah, I've crossed. I've certainly. I've crossed some. I've crossed swords with some of those guys. I've kind of renamed. I've renamed a lot of those guys who say they're MGTOWs. I call them scabs, scared, crying, angry babies. I have actually learned that there are a lot of. Well, I've actually learned, not to get off topic here, but
Go ahead.
I've actually learned that there are a lot of men out here who are not MGTOWs who are calling themselves MGTOWs. Because the truth of the matter is, John, is that we, MGTOWs and red pillars, are literally the same people. And the reason I know this is because people think MGTOWs have just given up on women completely and don't even want to have sex with them. Well, there are plenty of men who identify as MGTOWs who say, well, no, we don't avoid women altogether. We just don't get into relationships with them. We just use them for sex. That is a red pillar. So any man who does nothing but whine and complain about the state of women and are not interested in improving themselves or their lives, any man who believes that they are owed sex because they are a man, any man who blames women for all of their problems and endorses ridiculous ideas like we should take away women's rights to vote. That may or may not, that might be true, but it's not going to happen.
No,
you need to talk about realistic solutions. Well, the only way to do it is to move abroad and find a wife. Well, if you're not doing that, then you're not a MGTOW. Guys like that are not MGTOWs. Guys like that are what I call scabs. All they want to do is complain. There are a lot of scabs who have infiltrated the MGTOW community that give MGTOWs a bad name. So when I go in on quote-unquote MGTOWs, I'm not really talking about those guys because that's really who we are. What I'm talking about are scabs.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I like that term, scabs. Let's go back to the infographic. Guys in the chat seem to be enjoying it. So let's just take a look at this on a quick basis. This is the survey respondent info. So of all the people that were involved in the survey, the largest one, typical with most surveys for you guys that don't know, younger people are very hard to catch in regards to, whether it be for studies, medical research, whatever. Younger people are just, they're out there being young. They're out there being crazy, living off the grid. So this one looks like less than 5% of the people are 18 to 24. And then it looks like about 11% or so, 25 to 34, 15%, 35 to 44%. Obviously, older people have more time. 24% here, 45 to 54. 55, 64 is the largest demographic, which is just south of 30%. And 65 plus looks like it's around 17. So 55% have a college degree of all these women. That should show you something. 61% are married. I think that's interesting.
That's interesting. That's very interesting, actually.
I wonder how many are married to the guy they want to be and how many are married to their second choice.
Now
that
is the, I call it the $64,000 question.
Right? And I would be under the impression that even though 61% are married, I would say at least half are not married to the guy that they wanted to be married to.
I would put the number at 75%. I would say that 3 out of 4 women who get married 3 out of 4 women, and again, women are waiting longer to get married and have kids. I think the average marrying age for women is now 27 years old. 3 out of 4 women are married to a man that they had to marry, not a man that they want to marry.
Yes, I agree, 100%. That's the girl who marries the guy she wants to marry is a rarity. But you know how you do that is like by not being a whore. As ironic as that may sound, like preserving yourself for women is as much as American women of all don't want to hear it. It's just the truth. Like in my heart of hearts, I've asked this to dudes around the planet as well. You know me, I'm pretty well traveled. I ask these guys everywhere. I'm like, this is my one go-to question. I said, how do you feel about a girl that's had sex with a lot of dudes? Would you want to marry that type of girl? And uniformly,
no.
85% of guys are just like, fuck no. Would I fuck her? Yes. Would I keep her? Hell no.
Of course.
No. Let's go back to the other information. So 26% have children at home. I think that's very telling. 74% are employed part or full-time. 55% have an annual household income of $75,000. And then the race is 86% Caucasian, 5% African American, 4% Latina, and then 5% for the other races, whatever they may be, Micronesian or whatever. Let's see. Let's look at this one here. Figure 1A says percent of women engaging in each type of drinking. So 6% of those abstain for drinking, right? 7% infrequent, which is a few times per year. This is where Miss MLD. If Miss MLD has one cocktail, She wants to get a marker and start drawing all over my face. She is off her rocker. Like, that's her. And that's her if she finishes half of one Smirnoff Ice. That's her, like, I'm feeling crazy tonight. Regular light drinking is 22%. This one's pretty crazy. Daily light drinking, 24%. Do you drink daily, Don?
Yeah. No. Oh, hell no. No way.
No.
God, no.
I don't drink daily. In the chat, give me a 1 if you drink daily.
No.
Give me a 2 if you do not drink daily. 1 if you drink daily. 2 if you do not drink daily. I want to see what's going on with the guys in our chat here. Binge drinking, only 3% admitted to that. 16% admitted to heavy drinking. And 24% admitted to daily binge drinking. So daily binge drinking and daily light drinking, 24% and 24%, 48% collectively. Sweet Jesus. Fucking Christ, man. I didn't know. You know, this is, for me, honestly,
it's bad, man. It's bad out here in these streets.
It's mind-blowing, but I'm laughing my ass off because it's not me, and I'm kind of like, it's kind of evil, but hey. It is what it is, man. You made your bed, now fucking lay in it.
At the end of the day, John, men, we always have the last laugh, man. Women always have the first laugh, man. We have the last laugh. The women who laugh at guys for being, useless, sexless, beta schlubs are the same men that they are after in their mid to late 30s because they've now gotten their shit together. So fuck these bitches, man. Fuck them. Let them laugh. Just understand time's on your side.
I love it. Yeah, it's so true. You know, it's funny when I'll just a little side note. I don't know if this happened to you, but it actually happened. It's quite opposite for you, actually. But when I was a young buck, young, dumb, full of cum, ready to bang anything, I thought after I had turned 27 that my sex life and everything would pretty much be a wasteland, and life after 27 as a man didn't matter because I'd just be an old guy. I really believe that.
Right. Yeah. Life doesn't really begin for a man until he's right around, I would say, between 30 and 35 years old. That's when things really, really start to take off. Because I found the red pill. I was very fortunate to have found the red pill at the dawn of my sexual peak, right?
Yeah.
I'm 42 now, and thankfully for me, I look very young for my age. I'm 42. I probably look like I probably look like I'm 37, 38 years old.
I'd give you 36.
Dude, I will. Yeah, right, exactly. So I will remain sexually attractive well into my 50s.
Yes.
And we're talking sexually attractive to young, hot girls. Like, this is just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Our sexual peaks will never ever burn as hot and as bright as women, but ours burn a lot longer. You can believe that.
And I would say that at 33, I'm going to be 34 on Monday. 33 was literally the best year of my life, and I can't believe that I was just so dumb as a younger man to think that like life would just. I don't know what I was thinking. Quite honestly, I wasn't thinking. This is why all young men need a fucking mentor. Because if I could get a hold of 25-year-old Jonathan and fucking wrestle him to the ground and hit him with a couple of right straights to get all the ignorance out of him.
Yeah, right. Put him in the crucifix or something until he taps out.
I would definitely be in a different spot than I am now. I'm very grateful where I am, and I think that I'm doing above average compared to most people.
Of course.
But we all want better. I think that's just instinctively what we are as men. Yeah, I would say that to neglect yourself as a man from your 30s onward is very foolish because there are still girls, and this is I'm just being transparent with data. There are girls that are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, upwards. I have girls in their 30s that are interested in me, but young, sexy, attractive women are ready and willing to jump on my ship and start taking orders. And I'm 33. So if you're out there watching me and you think that I'm air quote old or whatever, just know that that's really happening. And
hey, cool. Hey, fine. I'll take that label. Oh, Donovan, you're old. You're goddamn right I am. Shit. That's what it's. Listen, old is the new young as far as men compared to women are concerned, right? Like if you say a man, oh, you're so young, it's almost like an insult. Oh, you're still, because Jennifer Lopez actually said in an article that men are useless before 33 years old. And dude, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Right? Now there are exceptions to the rule, but we are. I mean, dude, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, dude, I was kind of gangly. I had a little bit of size, but I wasn't, couldn't really grow any hair on my face. Dude, now that I'm 42 years old, I look so much better than I ever did. I made more. Dude, 2019, I made the second most amount of money than I've ever made in my life. So again, when you call, man, you're so old, when they say you're so old, well, to a man, that's a compliment. To a woman, that is clearly an insult. Because men, when we're young, we suck. We get better when we get older.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. And especially if you take care of yourself. That's a big thing. If you don't take care of yourself as you get older, you will get worse as a man. If you do not take care of yourself, it is irrefutable. You will get fatter. You will get balder, you will get weaker, you will get lower energy levels, you'll make less money. If you do not take care of yourself actively as a man from 30 years old onwards, then your inevitable and speedy demise is coming compared to the complete opposite.
Hashtag Jan Michael Vincent.
Oh, I don't know. Who's that?
I don't know who. Listen, if you don't know who he is, Google him. Jan Michael Vincent. Old school guy. He played the role of Stringfellow Hawk in an 80s television series called Airwolf. Mm-hmm. And he was the ladies' man. Everybody wanted him, but the guy was an alcoholic. And if you just Google before and after pictures of Jan Michael Vincent, that is the quintessential example of a man who hit the wall who didn't have to.
He was an alcoholic? Oh,
dude, he was an alcoholic. He was a drug addict. I mean, dude, you look at before and after pictures of Jan Michael Vincent. Holy fucking shit.
Jesus, I have a pretty fucking...
But this just goes to show. I
take a look at this. I got a pretty extreme...
I said all that to agree with what you were saying. Okay. Yeah, I said all that to agree with you. If you don't take care of yourself as a man, you will age very quickly.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Right there. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is Jan Michael Vincent. That is Jan Michael Vincent. If you do not take care of yourself, this is what you're going to end up.
Hotdude.com on the left here, and then good Lord, like, that's just so sad to see, to be honest.
You saw he was an amputee. I mean, dude, he was just, just let the life get, the party life swallowed him whole, man.
You got to take care of yourself, boys. It's so fucking important. Let's go back to the study here. I want to kind of, let's see, okay. Figure 1B says type of drinking as a function of age group. Heavy drinking versus daily binge drinking. Obviously, young people, 45% of that is heavy binge drinking. I'm a victim of that, too. I was crazy. I should be dead. From 18 to fucking 25, I was crazy. I literally, statistically speaking, I should be dead, but I'm not. 25 to 34.
Well, not to steal your thunder here.
Go ahead.
Listen, not to steal your thunder here, but I left Vegas when I was 39. From age 35, 36, from age 35 to age 39, I probably snorted my weight in cocaine. And I was doing blow every weekend. I'm talking 2, 3, 8 balls. This is actually how I discovered kratom, because the cocaine come down is terrible. But not to get off track here, but like you, I made many, many stupid decisions with substances. Cocaine was absolutely my drug of choice. I snorted so much cocaine, I'm surprised that I'm not dead. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no, I worked in a nightclub. I worked at a nightclub called Roxy in Orlando, and then Club Bliss, and then the 180 Grey Goose Lounge, which is at the top of the Amway Center in downtown Orlando, Florida. That's where
Oh yeah. I know
all that crazy shit. And honestly, for me, it was alcohol. I worked in the industry, so as you know, there's two types of alcoholics. There's people that go to the club and drink, and then there's people that work in the club and drink. And those motherfuckers are the peak alcoholics who are drinking
They
to
are
like
fucking fish. They are
six.
fucking fish. They drink till they can't even see straight.
Man, I remember when I was 21, there was these two, you know how it was. This was it was about 2008 when the platinum blonde thing was all the rage. So there was these, there's these two hot bartenders. They were like the alpha females, if you will, of the group. Their names Heather and Lexi. They were sisters. They were white, 24 and like 21 years old. Both had fake tits, and I got assigned to be their barback. And these girls were like, I had never experienced working with them. And they were just like, okay, so Jonathan, you're going to be our barback today. Just so you know, our barbacks always drink with us, so you're going to have to drink tonight. I was like, yeah, cool, whatever, bitches, just pay me. And they're like, we're going to be drinking Roberto Cavalli and triple sec all night because it has the least amount of calories. I didn't know what that was, right?
Yeah, you guys got turned up, dude.
That's just pure alcohol. So they're giving me these shots that, quite honestly, they taste like an orange creamsicle, right? Straight Roberto Cavalli vodka, and then a little bit of triple sec, which is orange flavored liqueur. And I was slamming these shots with them from 10 p.m. until 3 a.m. And
fucking A, man. Oh my God.
Dude, I got in my car at like 6 a.m. and I drove home, and I was driving down Chickasaw Trail in Orlando, Florida. And I never forget, man, I was asleep and coming back to the wheel, and asleep and coming back, and like swerving off the road. And I made it home somehow by the fucking grace of God. But I woke up, the police were at my door because I had parked in front of the neighbor's house, and they were like, you know, hey, you need to move your car. And like, luckily no trouble happened. But for younger guys, yeah, just you gotta be extremely careful when it comes to drinking and in general, because you know, if you're blacking out on the reg and shit, it's not only women that this is happening to, but you gotta be careful. You got to be careful of that. The hot dude life has downsides sometimes, so you got to be careful.
Yes, it does. Yes, the fuck it does, dude.
Looking at here, so it kind of dwindles off, except for the daily binge drinking. It seems to peak between 25 and 34, and then 29% for 35 to 44, 45, 54 at 28, and then 55 to 64, 18, and then the lowest at 65 plus, probably because, you know, they're probably dying off at this age because this shit compounds.
Sure.
There's a section here. This is figure 2A. It says percent of women selecting each source of help for an alcohol problem. Healthcare providers, 29%. Friends, families, 26%. 16% is religious community. 12-step meetings, 25%. Wouldn't seek help is 8%. Yikes. Addiction treatment, and then therapist, mental health profession, and honestly, 29%. Here's a black pill for you. Honestly, they're just gonna get off of alcohol and everything from here, and probably on to some other drug, like some mainstream, like, you know, take this pill if you will kind of thing, like. Because what people don't realize is that, you know, women are a victim of a lot of things in the States because it's all a capitalism game. Like, you know, prescription medicine.
Yeah, of course.
Alcohol.
Yeah, it's an economy thing, right?
It's all like, it's so sad, but hey, this is the, like I said, this is the bed they made, and this is what you got to lay in. Concerns about attending residential treatment for alcohol addiction. Telling employer is number one, right? Because they don't care about anybody else other than Big Daddy government or Big Daddy job. Telling families a friend, 24%. That's pretty. It's funny how this is. I was talking about this earlier. How the biggest thing women care about is their reputation, and this right here, telling employer because they don't want people gossiping in work, and then telling family and friends. This is accounting for 50% of all the women in the survey. 12% comes in is one of the lowest one, is care of children. 20% is running the household, and then so they would rather drink than 12% would rather drink than get help for in fear of taking their children might lose some of their attention or quality of attention, which is kind of crazy if you ask me. And then running the household is I mean, if you can't control yourself, inevitably your job, your family, your children, your household, your income, all of this will be affected. I don't know how you can individually kind of say one thing will be affected, one won't. I don't know. And then losing income is their 30%. That's what they're biggestly afraid of. So down here it says the summary and conclusions. It says millions of women in the United States engage in drinking behavior that poses a substantial risk to their health and well-being, particularly young women in their late teens and early 20s. Women may also face challenges in acknowledging and admitting a drinking problem. Yeah, because that would cause them to have accountability and responsibility, and in accessing help when they need it. These challenges range from not being aware that their drinking is a problem, i.e. normalizing their drinking based on what they perceive others are doing, being afraid to admit to problem drinking due to societal stigma, and worrying how attending alcohol treatment would disrupt their lives. That's fucking stupid. And these barriers are important because evidence shows that once a person is drinking problematically and becomes physically and psychologically dependent on alcohol, they are unlikely to recover on their own. Yikes, that's fucking terrifying. It is crucial for women to be aware of the risk of heavy drinking.
It is, man.
And to have access to resources that support healthy drinking or abstinence, if that is the best
healthy
path.
Drinking.
Yeah, what is? Yeah, exactly.
That's like healthy. Listen. Healthy drinking is like saying safe, unprotected sex.
I want to look into something here real quick and see how many women were actually surveyed in this research. So I'm going to see. I'm looking through this data right here. This is.
It's weird. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes they leave out certain things, or you see the sample size is really that's where the rubber meets the road, right? Mm-hmm. Because if there's a survey of 10 women and 7 of them drink on the regular, 70% of women are alcoholics according to a study. Well, if the sample size is only 10 women, obviously that completely invalidates that study. So the sample size is very, very important.
I think it is 500. That's a pretty decent sample size, in my opinion. 500. But yeah, still just crazy. So guys, that is gonna do it for us today. A little bit of a ironically saying so, a sobering episode here on Thanksgiving. But nonetheless, do not let this carry into your Thanksgiving. Be happy that you're part of a community of guys who are literally doing the exact opposite of this destructive behavior. We are a constructive group of men who are coming out of this nonsense. So keep your head up. Get out there. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Hug your loved ones. Eat some turkey for me. Have a scoop of mashed potatoes.
Fuck your wives. Fuck your girlfriends.
Fuck your wives. Fuck your girlfriends. Don't think of me when you're doing that, but make it happen. And, I think that's going to do it. So Donovan, thank you. You are an unexpected guest today, but I think I like the improv of it.
Yeah,
and,
happy to do it, man.
Thank you so much for coming on. You guys can find Donovan on his show, TSR Live. That is capital TSR space LIVE. Donovan is going live weekly, and he offers an array of services in order to help maximize your masculinity. Looks like Donovan has dropped off. So Donovan, thank you again for coming by. I just wanted to say thank you so much. You guys.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
So thank you guys again for listening in today. I really appreciate you dudes. Go out there, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, And until then, I will see you guys tomorrow on Free Consultation Friday. Right here, we will have a free call-in show to help you with all your questions in regards to dating, health, sex, fitness, relationships, everything man-related. You'll be able to call in right here on this phone line, which is 657-383-1318. Some people were telling me they want me to play the new Star Wars game as I do this. I have my TV set up so I can actually do that. So if you guys are interested, the polls was astoundingly marked towards yes. So a lot of people wanted me to play the new Star Wars game. While I answered, I may or may not do it. Still deciding. But until then, we'll see you guys on the next episode, which is tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful day. And until then,